Well, talk about a thriller. Talk about a thriller. England 6, France 4. That was an absolutely crazy, crazy game. England in the first half were really good. They were really good. France looked like they were just on holiday. Already looked like they just wanted to go home. And in the second half, it's like they just flicked a switch and you just saw the quality kind of levels. You saw the levels drop, for England in terms of the tiredness, the fatigue, obviously setting in throughout, the game and in that second half. And, France were just capitalizing more or less at every opportunity. And if I'm being honest, they probably should have won the game, but we'll get into all of that. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. England take home the bronze medal. Let me know your thoughts and let's get into it. So I mentioned obviously before the game, my preview that this was a game that no one really wants to play. I think I heard Bukayo Saka talking about it. Both teams being disappointed in regards to having to kind of play this game. It's a bronze medal. It's just one of those kind of things. You don't really want bronze. Obviously, you want to take home, the gold. But yeah, I think in terms of how England kind of approached the game, if I'm looking at them first. I think they approached the game really well. I'll be honest. I think they seem like they were really up for it from like the first minute. And as I mentioned before, in that first half, going up by that amount of goals, you kind of thought to yourself, and I know I saw a lot of people online, they were all talking about it. Oh, where was this against Argentina? Why didn't England play like this? And oh, we've got wingers and look, ultimately in games like this, especially where there's less pressure, you've kind of got the freedom, you've got free reign to kind of do what it is that you kind of want to do in a game of this kind of, I don't want to say magnitude, but just kind of in a game like this, it's all contextual, right? So it felt like that. It really, really did feel like that, in terms of an England perspective. And they they were they were they were playing okay. Yeah, they were playing okay, man. Like I don't really have any negatives, if I'm being super honest, in terms of how England were playing in that first half. They did their job. Ultimately, two teams have to turn up. They've got to play the game. You can only beat what's in front of you ultimately, and you can only play against what's in front of you, no matter who it is, no matter what the context of the game is. You're every professional, even all of us in life, you want to win at everything that you possibly can do. So that's what England kind of showed in that first half. So when everyone did talk about that, it was a little bit annoying because it was just like, again, you're talking about context here. You're talking about coming up against a team like France, who they're not a possession based team. They are a team who can play on the transition. If you kind of match that, which England I feel can do, let's say this was a World Cup semi-final or the final as an example. I feel like, not to say we would have seen the same score, but we would probably see similar type of football in terms of just end-to-end basketball feel, type of game. And yeah, that's just really what it was, from England. Yeah. And I mean, from a France perspective, I'll be so honest, man. Like, I'll be surprised to know that they were trying in that first half. I'm going to be honest with you. It just felt like Deschamps is leaving. Mbappe kind of just wants his golden boot if he can possibly get it. And yeah, we're just here. We're kind of going through the motion. Maybe it almost felt like maybe they were a little bit surprised by the way England were taking the game so serious. It almost felt like they weren't going to take it that serious, and they were just going to kind of just turn up and do whatever it is that they kind of wanted to do, make it a nice game. One of those like it's comfortable, it's cool. But yeah, England said, nah, we're here to win, and we do want to at least give the fans something for traveling all over America, Canada, whatever, Mexico, and all these kind of things. So yeah, that's just how I kind of took it. And yeah, in terms of France, they just weren't really that good. But yeah, second half, the second half was just typical. And not to say that I thought that France were going to turn that second half into what they did, but I always knew if France just up it by like 10 to 15%, you see what you saw. And if I'm being super real, I'm not even gonna lie to you. France probably should have won the game. I'll be so honest with you. Like it, and I think Bukayo Saka even alluded to England having the obviously winning the first half, playing better. France obviously winning that second half, playing better. Not word for word, but in terms of just what he was saying at the end of the game. And Yeah, France just, it's like they made a few substitutions. I know obviously Dembele coming on, Upamecano came on. I think been really, really good this tournament as well. Um, but they just it's like they literally just went up, but like a gear, 2 gears, if you want to give, if I'm being generous, right? But it felt like they went up a gear, and this is what quality looks like. I know. Listen, they lost 6-4 at the end of the day, right? Malo Gusto, listen, they're gonna have to rush him in the change room because had he not given away that penalty, I'm convinced at bare minimum we are going to extra time. You know what I mean? I genuinely believe we would have gone to at least extra time, and I have a suspicion that yeah, England probably would have lost it at the end there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Even with their own substitution, bringing on Jude Bellingham, they would have probably have had to, brought on Harry Kane and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, when I'm looking at it from France, yeah, that second half, bruv, like Dembele scoring twice, Mbappe scoring, and Barcola scoring, like Elise, doing his thing, like it just, yeah, whatever was said at halftime, probably because it was a little bit, it was getting embarrassing. Let's be honest, like it was getting genuinely embarrassing from a France perspective, in terms of Deschamps' last game as well. Like you're going out real sad. You really, really are going out sad. So yeah, when they turned it up, you just, to me anyway, again, my own opinion, but you just saw the quality. You just saw the massive gulf in class between the two sets of teams and the two sets of players. And you realized, or I realized very, very quickly, it's like sometimes there's just nothing you can do against just a team who is just better than you. Like it is what it is. If a team obviously is performing better than you, that's different, because I feel like, yeah, that's something that you can kind of control in a sense, kind of thing, because then it's just coming down to performance levels. But when we're talking about Elise, Dembele, Mbappe, Barcola, all of these kind of guys, I just feel like, yeah, they're just better than the England players anyway. So if they just turn up a little bit, you're going to see that in the quality. And you did, ultimately you did, man. But listen, it wasn't enough. France missed a bucket load of chances. Elise missed a bucket load of chances. I felt like had he just scored those, yeah, we would be talking maybe 7-4, 7-5 at best for England, kind of thing. That's how many chances were being missed, at that point. But listen, England run out their winners, man. They run out winners. They take home the bronze medal. I guess you could say maybe, like I say, for both teams, it's disappointing in terms of their own World Cup. If for England, no, because I believe this is their best ever finish in a World Cup. For France, 100%. I think they definitely were one of the teams who they probably looked at it themselves, and I'm sure if you asked them, they thought that they would at least get to the final, and that was just a bare minimum. And I think, listen, Tuchel's got a big, big job on his hands in terms of what does he do next, or how does he get this group of players or whoever he brings in, how does he take it to the next level? How does he get to that level of the Argentinas, the Spains, the Frances, where you getting to this stage is like, nah, and I always believe, and I'm always of the belief, like that kind of mentality is always the best in terms of context to sport, right? Because when you have that kind of mentality where you get to a semi-final, you lose, and it's like, not to say England were happy, because of course they weren't, but it's, you're not even celebrating games like this. I don't even feel like France would have even have cared. Not that England cared that much, but yeah, like I'm starting to see, yeah, like, this is the best ever finish from England. And I'm like, I mean, you call yourselves a big nation, and you're getting excited over little things like this. This is still very disappointing. Just in terms of the context of how you got to this in the first place, kind of thing. So yeah, how does Tuchel get his team and get almost? Unfortunately for him, he's gonna have to almost get the whole country in thinking in that kind of way of like, nah, this ain't, I mean, I don't want this. I don't want a bronze medal. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to store this up in my house. No, I don't want that. What we want is the gold. What we want is the World Cup trophy. What we want is the Euros trophy, whatever it is, kind of thing, whatever competition they play, the Nations League, whatever, even that, just to get the team used to just winning, something. It's just those kind of little things. And I think it's going to be a tough job. It's going to be a really, really tough job for him moving forward. So we'd have to wait and see. We'd have to wait and see. But I would say man of the match, I'll probably give it to Saka. Would be the easiest choice, but I don't really feel like he was all that. I would actually give it to Jed Spence. I thought he was really good in the game. Even when England were absolutely dog shit in that second half, I still felt he was, some form of a bright spark. Obviously won the penalty as well, able to get up and down that left flank. His 1v1 defending is really, really good. Going to be interesting to see what happens with him this summer in terms of whether he stays at Spurs, whether he goes. I do think quite a lot of clubs are probably going to start looking at him a lot more closely over the next couple of weeks, especially. So Spurs are going to have probably, I believe, a fight on their hands unless they're giving him a new deal or, you know, whatever it is. So, yeah, going to be interesting, but we'll wait and see. But as I say, England take home the bronze medal in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Later on today, we will have, obviously, the big one, Spain versus Argentina, Messi versus Lamine Yamal. Leave your thoughts in the comment section, people, in regards to this game, and I'll be back with a reaction for the Spain versus Argentina games. Make sure you stay locked in, stay tuned, keep the same energy, stay blessed. I'll catch you soon. Peace.